You're listening to the Dave Canning Sports Show. Here's your host, the voice, Dave Canning.
Welcome to my house. Play that music too. Turn it up. Show me what you do now. We don't have to go out.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my house. Welcome to the Dave Cave. And most importantly, welcome to the very first broadcast episode of the Dave Canning Sports Show. I am your host, as always, the voice, Dave Canning. It is an honor and a pleasure to bring you this broadcast episode of the Dave Canning Sports Show. Not my first rodeo doing this show. In general, I have plenty of episodes you can listen to if you want to hear the history of the Dave Canning Sports Show. From the very first test episode I did in a friend's basement to the episode that I got to do in Boston at Fenway Park, you can simply go to blogtalkradio.com/DaveCTheVoice and find all the past episodes. There's over 25. I hope you enjoy them as much as I enjoy doing them. It was a lot of fun, but now the time is... It's time to evolve. It's time to move on and be more creative with this show. And it's going to be the same show. If you've been a fan of the show in the past, it's the same show. You just get to see me this time. You know, it's a lot different doing a broadcasted show rather than the audio podcast. I actually have to care about my appearance this time. In the past, I could simply just do this show in shorts and a t-shirt and not care about my appearance. I put on a collared shirt to show everyone how serious I'm taking this time. Not that I wasn't taking it serious before, but even more so now, you gotta look good. And if you're looking good, you're feeling good. And I have a good feeling that this is the first of many broadcast episodes of the Dave Canning Sports Show. Now, if you have something you want to be a part of this show, if you want to get in contact with me to tell me what you like or dislike about the show, if you have a question you want me to tackle here on the Dave Canning Sports Show, it's very simple to get in contact with me. I'm all over social media. You can go to facebook.com/DaveCTheVoice. You'll see this very logo as the profile picture and the logo for my 500th game that I called as well as the cover photo. Very easy to get in touch with me there. You can also go to Twitter at DaveCTheVoice. You can also find me on Snapchat there at DaveCTheVoice as well as the handle. Plenty of ways to get in contact with me. You can ask me questions, comments, concerns. You can tell me you love the show. You can tell me you hate the show. That's what social media is there for, folks. Feel free to get in touch with me. I'm not hard to find, and I love interacting with the fans of this show. And even some of the people who don't like the show. That makes for some of the best conversations sometimes. Now, we start this show as we normally do with the first order of business. And the first order of business for this special broadcast episode, it is very near and dear to my heart. For those of you who don't know, I'm the voice of Walter Panis Athletics. I work for Walter Panis High School calling all their sporting events, from field hockey to football, baseball to basketball, and so many others. So many great teams. I've had the pleasure of watching and calling their games over the past 7 years there. But this past fall, we had the greatest team in Panis sports history, plain and simple. And I'm talking about the 2016 New York State champion girls volleyball team from Walter Panis High School. That team, hands down, is the most dominant team I've ever seen in my 7 years there. And I've called over 500 different games. And this team would not just beat you, but they would make a statement in beating you. This team was hands down just above and beyond everyone that stepped on the court with them. And I couldn't be more proud that they were able to bring home the very first state title in school history. As an alumni, as an employee of Panis, I couldn't be more proud of those girls and the work they put forth. Runners-up last year, so close to the state title. This year, able to get back to Glens Falls, rewrite the ending, and bring home the very first state title in school history. Girls, congratulations, Coach Philippe, the whole staff. It was one amazing run, and who knows, maybe, just maybe, they can repeat and get back up there again. We'll see, time will tell, but they're not the only big game in town. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the big game is upon us. Sunday, 6:30 p.m. kickoff, Houston, Texas. It will be the Atlanta Falcons and the New England Patriots going at it for supremacy of the football world, and I can only imagine how good this one is going to be. This is the #1 offense versus the #1 defense, and it is going to be arguably one of the greatest Super Bowls in recent memory. I gotta tell you, there's obviously you've got your key components to this game. For me, I've got 4 major key players. From the Falcons, it's going to be Matt Ryan. Obviously, he's the quarterback. He's going to have the ball in his hand. He's going to be making the big plays, hopefully, if you're a Falcons fan. However, he cannot make a mistake. He has to play the best game of his life in order for the Falcons to have a chance. And I'll get to the major reason why a little later on. However, Ryan, he's never been here before. Tom Brady, this is his 7th Super Bowl. Tom Brady has been in 14% of all Super Bowls ever played. He knows what the pressure is. He knows how to handle that pressure. Matt Ryan, it's a big unknown, and that can be a big factor. The unknown can play mind games worse than any opponent ever could. And besides Ryan, I've got Mohamed Sanu, the wide receiver for the Falcons. Now, Julio Jones, who knows how the Patriots are going to defend him? They could double him up. They could just put Butler on him, have him shout him around the field. But if they do decide to double him, that means Sanu's going to get a lot more looks. And I know that the Falcons' mantra is Julio Jones is always open. But if you're sending 2 guys, and one of those just happens to be Malcolm Butler, on Julio Jones, it's going to be really hard. The Patriots are going to look to limit Julio Jones severely, which means Sanu is going to get a lot of good looks available for him. So if he can make those big plays, and if he can make those receptions when it's needed, while Julio's being doubled and maybe even triple teamed, who knows? Then the Falcons will have every chance to be in this game on Sunday. They are the #1 scoring offense for a reason. They have plenty of offensive weapons. Don't get me wrong, Devontae Freeman will play a big role in this as well. But when you've got such a valuable weapon as Julio Jones is, and they're able to take that weapon away from you, you need your other wideout to be able to open up the field and make some big catches. So we'll see how that breaks down. My key players for the Patriots, as I mentioned, Malcolm Butler. Is he going to be the one who draws the assignment for Julio Jones? Is he going to be part of one-on-one man coverage? Is he going to double him up? We'll have to see how that breaks down. But Malcolm Butler is going to play a big part in how they deal with Julio Jones. And another key player for the Patriots is going to be LeGarrette Blount. We saw how the Falcons defend against the rush, and it's not that good. LeGarrette Blount is one of the top running backs in the league, in my opinion. He's very underrated and underappreciated, but if you watch him, he knows how to make his routes, find holes, and get those extra yards needed in order to keep that ball moving down the field towards the end zone. And so if LeGarrette Blount can get it going, and the Patriots can establish dominance early, maybe get the clock running a little extra, because time will eventually not be on the side of the Falcons. Now, this Super Bowl Sunday is going to have a lot of deciding factors, but the big deciding factor, it's not going to be Tom Brady, it's not going to be Matt Ryan, it's not going to be who's wearing the white jersey this year, Patriots, by the way. It's going to be the Atlanta Falcons defense, believe it or not. I tell you why. The Falcons allowed 25.1 points per game on defense. That's the 6th most in the NFL, and #1 among teams that made the playoffs. Team that allowed the fewest of all the teams? New England Patriots, 15.6 points per game. Now, I've said it all the time. Offense will win you games, but defense wins you championships. I don't care if your offense is going out there and scoring 43 points a game, but if your defense is out there allowing the other team to score 44 points, guess what? You lost. Basic math. Now, the Falcons allowed 371 yards on defense compared to the Patriots, who allowed only 326. Again, big gap there. And the Falcons allowed teams to convert on 3rd and 4th down 107 times versus their 83 times. The Patriots, if they are able to convert on 3rd and 4th down, a couple times in a drive, that's a big momentum builder. And in the biggest game, the littlest mistake can cause the biggest explosion in your head, and all of a sudden you're mentally checked out, and it's game over for you. So the defense for the Falcons is going to have to step up. Now, people are going to say, but wait a second, look at how they handled the Packers. Folks, I hate to break it to you, but the Packers got to the NFC Championship game held together by duct tape and glue. I mean, don't get me wrong, Aaron Rodgers is an elite quarterback, but, you know, he just didn't have the weapons to go with. I mean, unfortunately, the Falcons were there and ready to pick the bones of what was left of the Packers. The Packers they had their whole run the table momentum going, but unfortunately in the end they just ran out of steam, and the Falcons were the better team. Don't get me wrong by any stretch. But I mean, that was one game, and then you look at, how they've done against other teams during the regular season. I mean, it's almost what happened last year with Carolina. People bought into Carolina. They're 15-1 in the regular season. They're gonna keep going, and they made the Super Bowl. People were very heavy favorites on the Panthers bandwagon. But then you look at the division that they played in. Now, before you get on me, I know that the Patriots play in a bit of a weak division as well. But the NFC South does not get much recognition. And it's, people think, it's the Falcons. They had to come out of a bit of a tough division. Tampa Bay, decent. Saints, okay. Panthers just fell apart for whatever reason. And so the competition there for those 6 games, I would have to say that the AFC East was tougher than the NFC South. With the exception of the Jets, you look at the Dolphins, playoff team. You look at the Bills, an up-and-coming, they're a couple of key players away from potentially making the playoffs next year. But the NFC South, I mean, it's out there a little bit. The Falcons' defense is going to be the big deciding factor in this game. Because, like I said, offense wins games, defense wins championship. They have the offense to win the game, but do they have the defense to let them win the game? It's going to be an interesting game, don't get me wrong. This is going to be one of the greatest Super Bowls potentially in history. And I hope it is. I hope it's a very close game, comes down to the wire where the team with the ball last wins it. We'll see what happens. Now, ironically, about 20% of the fans that are rooting for the Falcons in this game are actually Falcons fans. The other 80%, they just don't like the Patriots. You can ask my mom, for instance. Anybody but Brady. Anybody. But I'll tell you what, folks. You want to talk about good television? We all remember how Tom Brady was suspended for 4 games because of Deflategate. Well, guess what? How interesting would it be if at the end of the game, the Patriots are the champions of the world, confetti's flying all over the place, and then in this little tiny booth, you're going to have Joe Buck and Roger Goodell and Robert Kraft and Tom Brady and Bill Belichick all squeezed in here tight like they actually like each other. And then Roger Goodell has to hand over the Lombardi trophy to Brady and Belichick. Oh, please. Who doesn't want to watch that? That has ratings itself written all over it. You thought the game was fun to watch? Just wait till you get to see that awkward handshake. Congratulations. I'm sorry I suspended you for 4 games. Not really. I don't like you. Who knows what's going to happen? Would Goodell even go down to the field? We know he didn't go to Foxborough for any of the playoff games. He doesn't like the Patriots. He'll tell you all he wants about, my relationship with the Kraft family and the Patriots is fine. Come on. Stop lying to yourself. You don't like Tom Brady, but that's fine. You don't have to like everyone you deal with. But that's why we want to watch Tom Brady get the Lombardi trophy, get the one for the thumb. Because this way he can almost stick to Roger Goodell. Everyone said when Ray Lewis won the Super Bowl in his final game and he tried to grab the microphone from Jim Nantz, everyone was like, oh man, what's Ray going to say? What would Brady say with an open mic there on live TV? If the Patriots win, I hope the guys at the censor button are ready to press it. Who knows what Brady could say if they get that ring to Goodell? Who knows? It's going to be interesting. Now, everybody's going to give their picks this week on whether or not they've got the Patriots or the Falcons. And I'm here to let my pick be publicly known. Maybe you've heard it already on social media once again. Dave C. The Voice on Twitter and Facebook and Snapchat. But I'm going with the Patriots. I believe that the Falcons' defense is not going to be able to hold up against the Patriots. And I believe Tom Brady gets the one for the thumb. His 5th ring in 7 appearances. Bill Belichick, surefire Hall of Famer coach, gets his extra ring. And, I've got the Patriots winning 33-27. So we'll see what happens on Sunday. It should be a great game. So that wraps up the very first broadcast episode of the Dave Canning Sports Show. I thank you for joining me. Hopefully we'll have more of these. Maybe get a set schedule. Hopefully figure out when we can put these online for you guys to watch and enjoy and spread around. Don't forget to share it, subscribe to my YouTube page, and until next time, I am Dave Canning, the voice, reminding you to tell your mother you love her every day because like Kevin Durant said, Mom, you're the real MVP. Good night, everyone, and God bless America.
Welcome to my house, baby, take control.